Welcome to the KEDICHO Podcast.
Hello, guys. Welcome back.
The podcast where we dive deep into the dichos that we grew up hearing from our parents and grandparents.
I am your host, Alondra Luviano.
And I'm your host, Alejandro Luviano. And today's dicho es...
Quien madruga, Dios lo ayuda. Ooh. All right, Alejandro. Have you ever heard of this dicho?
So this dicho is actually the dicho that made me. The one that I hold so close to me because I heard it since my childhood. So it's a dicho. It's like when I heard someone say or refer to dichos, or do you know any dichos?
Mm-hmm. That's the one.
That's the one that popped in my head.
It's an
like
OG
this one.
Yeah, it's OG.
I get it's a popular one then. That's what it is, right?
Yeah.
Because there are dichos that are more popular than other ones, right? So this is what to expect in this podcast is the dicho, a little bit of backstory of the dicho, and personal experiences with the dicho.
All right.
Let's get started.
Let's get into the nitty gritty.
Let's get needy and greedy.
Ooh, knitting and gritting.
Yeah.
Yummy.
What is nitty gritty?
And the knits and the grits. I don't know. Actually, don't know.
We'll get back with y'all on the definition of that dicho. Is it a dicho? Nitty gritty?
You want me to look it up right now?
Let's do it. Let's get into the nitty gritty.
Of the word nitty gritty.
We've been using that this whole time and us not knowing that that's a dicho.
Nitty gritty. The most important aspects or practical details of a subject or situation. Quotations. Let's get down to the nitty gritty of finding a job. But what does it mean really?
The specifics.
Is that a real word?
Details.
The origin.
Nitty gritty.
Theory suggests the expression originally referred to the detritus found in the bottom of boats once a shipment of slaves have been removed from the hold and was eventually stretched to refer to the slaves themselves.
Okay, that's a deep definition. Or what did it just say?
Is this talking about slavery?
The nitty gritty. I don't know.
I don't like that.
Oh, yeah, the nitty gritty is a dicho, or it's referring to something that was used before, but it's to get to the point. Yeah. Let's get to the details. And we're going to dive deep right now to El que madruga Dios lo ayuda. All right, Alondra, do you have anything you want to start us with?
So let's just start off with what does it translate to in English? It's he who wakes up early, God himself helps you in many ways. That was a bad translation.
Say it again.
Okay. Whoever wakes up early gets blessings. Okay. That's the easiest way to translate it in my head in English.
Those who wake up early, God helps.
Okay, that's more literal. That's,
straight to the point.
There you go. But there's another dicho in English that kind of has that same meaning. An English dicho.
Which one is it?
The early bird catches the worm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
With the same message.
Exactly.
Like not same translation, but same.
The message is the same.
Okay. El que madruga, Dios lo ayuda.
Yeah, because there's two components to that dicho. I don't know if you've realized.
Okay.
The first part, quien madruga. What does that mean for somebody who madruga? Somebody who madrugas? Madrugar?
For me,
madrugation
is referring to the action that you do, right?
Right. So what does that mean as for a person? What kind of person is that? Why do you want to even madrugar in the first place? Yeah,
because it's referring to a specific individual. Those who madruga. Yeah. Those who, I don't know the English translation to that.
Those who madrugate.
The madrugation-ness.
Why did I say ew? It's not even nasty, but I said ew. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a very specific kind of individual.
No, yeah, for real. How do you say madrugar in English?
To dawn, to dusk.
Isn't dusk
those
nochecita?
Who dusk it?
Those who dusk it? No.
Oh my goodness.
Midnight.
Those who rise early.
Early risers.
Because let's get something specific. So in the Spanish language, or at least our culture, Mexican culture, Latino culture, maybe Spain culture too, we identify the day in 4 sections. Tenemos la mañana, la tarde, la noche, y la madrugada. Because if you were to divided clockwise, so from 6 a.m. to 12,
es
that's
la mañana.
Morning. Ya pasando las 12, dices que
es la tarde.
Es la tarde. Y pasando las 6, ya es noche. ¿Verdad? Buenas noches.
So there's buenos días, buenas tardes, buenas noches, and buenas madrugadas. Buenas madrugadas.
Right. And then that's the fourth one, madrugada, from 12 p.m. to 6 a.m. That's
12 p.m. You mean 12 a.m.?
12 a.m.
Yeah, that did not sound right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what we, at least I am accustomed to see
Madrugada.
the clock. or seed time.
Okay.
There's there's a specific name for those areas.
In English,
and
they have
I'm talking about the 24-hour clock, if you haven't noticed. Notice. Okay.
In English, they have it too, don't they?
So which one are those? So it's morning?
Morning, afternoon, morning, brunch. I'm just kidding. Morning, afternoon, evening.
Evening.
Night.
That's
what is twilight, dusk, breaking dawn. What's the other one?
You're making a joke.
Eclipse.
But I don't get it because I guess I'm not part of that crew.
I'm talking about all the books from Twilight.
Oh my god.
No, but yeah, breaking dawn or sad dawn.
Mm-hmm.
And then I believe dawn is the same thing as madrugada. I think so.
Okay. I don't know. English is my second language.
So is mine.
So I'm kind of iffy. I never learned that part. Unless, like, I guess there is a name for that time period.
Yeah.
But I think it's either dusk or dawn.
I think dusk is...
Oh, it's a specific...
Like the...
I remember now.
Sunset at dusk.
It's that specific point. So either... Which dusk is when it's rising.
No.
It's barely... Okay. Dusk is when it's setting, right? And then dawn is when it's...
When it's coming out. Have you heard of the little saying, "We ride at dawn"?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, that's the same thing. Think about it. Is that what you're thinking?
Yes. El que madruga is we ride at dawn. Because you want to wake up.
You want to wake up before your not competitors, before your
before
opponent,
exactly
before your opponent reaches the meeting grounds or whatever.
Because that's the same idea of El que madruga Dios lo ayuda, or the idea of like those who rises early and ride at dawn. You're early. You're the early bird, and
Dang.
that's oh my god.
That was so hot of us.
How we like?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yes. If y'all got that same vibe, guys, make sure to like this video so far, and make sure to subscribe. Share this with someone who needs to hear this.
Me, myself, and I.
So
this episode is for me, by the way. That's why I wrote 3 pages on this.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Dear Alondra.
This is a dicho that
for the people like moi,
aka that needs this advice to be part of their lives.
Amen.
And then there is the other bunch of us, which is like myself, that this dicho has been ingrained in our lives since the beginning stages of childhood. I identify with this dicho. I like to rise early, and I have this particular thing where, like, if I don't do that, I feel like my day cannot be productive.
And that's one thing I gotta say, like, man, that sucks for you. That sucks for you, because I like to wait. When I wake up, I'm just like, all right, like I'm up, like I'm already happy. But for you, if you don't wake up at a certain time, you ruin your own day. I'm just like, come on, buddy. The day has just begun. It's barely like 9 a.m.
Right, but I feel already behind.
I get it though. I see the value though. I really do. Like, know that I do, but it's a struggle. Right.
Because so what we're talking about, guys, is
there's 2 kinds of people. Yeah. Early bird and the night owl. And this dicho is more for the early birds, like in Madruga Dios, like you agree, right? Early bird gets the worm, you're an early bird, you wake up early.
Yeah.
A night owl, like moi, who doesn't like to go to sleep early. I think it's a waste of my time. I don't know if anybody else agrees. And then having to wake up early is just like a struggle. But then again, if I go to sleep late, that's gonna happen.
So when you marry someone who is the opposite of you, there's going to be that clash, guys, between who, I guess, what's the thing? I'm thinking about the movie Planet of the Apes, where he's like, there's a battle between us who says, okay, we're gonna wake up early today, so we gotta go to sleep early so that we wake up early. And it's either a battle of like who goes like this, and it's like, okay, I agree. But what I'm saying is that we have to come to an agreement,
a mutual agreement,
of like, hey, I'm trying to wake up early, so I need to go to sleep early, meaning by 9 or 10 p.m. I need to be like out, like lights out. But then there's days that I'm not gonna wake up early. The day's been kind of hectic, whatever.
I'm gonna de-stress by watching TikTok and anime.
Right. So then there's those days where I guess we'll do it your way. We're gonna ride the night a little bit longer all the way to like 12.
4 a.m. I'm just kidding. No, never.
I guess it's like that early madrugada because you reach 12 a.m. But to come back to the El que madruga Dios lo ayuda, that's a dicho that is more for those early morning people, or the people who see the value on rising early. And there is a whole bunch of literature and a whole bunch of group of people that see the value in that. And for a capitalistic world, early risers is meaning you get to be very productive. So for a capitalist mindset or world or system like America,
what in the politics is going on?
El que madruga Dios lo ayuda kind of like goes with that, because you're seeing in the how early can you start to start being productive.
Do you want to know what AI's translation was of this?
That would be very interesting to see.
So he said, waking up early and starting your day with determination and diligence can lead to success and blessings. Ooh.
So AI came out with that?
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Robot.
Or like it used the language that it read from...
Yeah, it's like their translation of it. Their own interpretation of
what that dicho means.
Of what dicho means,
oh,
yeah.
Nice. And you can ask it like that? Like you can just be like, what does el que madruga Dios lo ayuda mean?
Yeah, I told him to break it down. And he's like, all right.
Interesting. Wow.
He's very well said, honestly.
It was well said, right?
Yeah. It made a lot of good points in that one. Okay. All right, anyways, continuing.
Yeah.
So to me, this dicho, like my interpretation of this dicho, kind of like what AI said. So this is mine. So el quien madruga Dios lo ayuda. I feel like that is kind of saying like those people who wake up early get a privilege of starting their day and getting those tasks done, like the hard things done first. Mm-hmm. Or just taking their day head on, grabbing the bull by its horns type of thing, and just doing it with a certain type of mindset already because you're already waking up early.
Right.
Did that even make any sense? No sé. Okay, so the person who wakes up early has the privilege of getting more things done more efficiently versus somebody who wakes up an hour, 2 hours later and tries to do the same thing because they have less time in their day.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know.
No, yeah, I agree with that thought or that mindset or that perspective of el que madruga Dios lo ayuda. My 2 cents to that is one of the reasons why I think it's such good advice is because when you had a good night's sleep and then you wake up and you're ready to start your day, you just had a good night rest of sleep, a good reset, let's just say. Yeah. And then if you rise up early, then you get to do all those stuff early on the day from your 8-hour sleep.
And like everybody gets the same 24 hours. That's what we have to realize. What are you spending your time on? Are you spending it wisely on those waking hours?
Right.
That's very important.
And here's one thing I noticed because I'm a practitioner of this idea.
Okay.
So when I wake up early,
what are you doing with those hours?
5 a.m. in the morning, right? When I'm freshly up after I fed my kitties, there is this pure energy that you feel of you're fresh and you are full of energy. Because even that is like, it's not that you're tired. Your body was kind of like barely rising up. But once you fully wake up and you have that motive to continue your day and start your day, like something turns on, you really do feel you have a fresh start on your day. Like you're starting like at that 5 a.m.
Does it set a mood for you for like the rest of the day? It kind of sets a tone for the day when you wake up early?
Oh, no. Yeah. Because you are already started. It's still dark outside.
And you're already
are knocking down a lot of things. It's a perfect time to do all the inner self work. That's what I use like the first hour that I rise up.
What do you do?
Through a lot of trial and error, I have done the first hour, I've worked out, done a mile, or I've done meditation, breath works, or the other one that's writing in my journal. Like out of all those that I've tried to do first in the first hour, I came to the conclusion that the best one that suits me is to sit down and write my thoughts.
Doesn't that get you a little sleepy? Because it's kind of like low and calm. You could just fall asleep again.
No. Because I'm thinking. Because like when you write, it kind of feels like you're thinking onto your paper.
Your brain.
You're already figuring things out.
It's like you're having a conversation.
Exactly. And that's what I use it for. I use my journal to have a conversation with myself or whoever's in there, like if I write down who's there and it'll be like, what's me writing, dummy? Or something, right? And like it's
That's
someone
cute.
Responding or it's me responding. I call it my higher self or like my true self or like my focus perspective, my conscious, my subconscious responding back.
Your
whoever
soul.
It is, my soul, whoever it is, it doesn't matter. The point is that it responds back or by writing and you start that conversation as in like, so what's the best thing that we can do today to be productive? And then you start writing out or something specific.
And is this like a journal that you do, or is it just
what do I write on? Or when I barely started doing that, I just used a spiral notebook, and then I wanted to get a little bit fancier, so started getting like leather bound journals, or those very nice journals that you can get, and they're like thick paper,
very fancy.
And now, since what I find most valuable of it is just to write, so what I want is more surface area and more pages to write on, I simply use composition books now, because it's not the book that I find valuable, it's the content that I get to put in. If I have more sheets and more lines to write on, for example, I get the composition books with the college rule, and then I get to write. And also I went through a whole process of like, should I write with pencil, should I write with pen?
Why in the heck would you ever write with pencil? That's a big mistake,
because it's a trial and error. And it worked for a little bit,
but it fades.
Long wise, yes, but if you don't know, you don't know. I didn't know. You know, because you've seen old journals.
No, I know because I've had many journals from middle school that have faded.
But you only knew that information afterwards, like many
early
years
high school.
ago.
No, like early high school.
Right.
Because I had journals. I haven't journaled in a while. I blame you, No. Okay, like I used to do all of these cool little things that I had of myself, and then I had a boyfriend, and then I stopped doing any of it. So I blame you.
So you stopped doing self-work.
Yes.
Because you were like,
so
got
sad.
him.
No, I would do all of this internal work because I had nothing else to do. Yeah.
And now you use all your time.
I just like live and breathe for Alejandro. That is so sad. That's a joke, but it's also hay verdad en los
jokes.
Yeah, I'm not going to expose myself like that right here. Anyways, let's go back to the...
Yeah.
So Alejandro, you're really good at waking up 5 a.m.
Yes, I'm really good, and I have a... I have a bigger trajectory.
I'm gonna give you props though. You really do.
Yeah,
you do try.
And it's a bumpy ride either way. So whenever I give myself the challenge, let's say in a year, like I could do like 60% of the year waking up early. It doesn't have to be 5 a.m., but it has to be early.
But I'm not gonna do 5 a.m. I feel like I need to creep up, and I think 6 is good.
6 is good because
6 is good.
Actually, according to the time thingy, 6 is already morning.
Dang
so you would be waking up early.
But like I need to do baby steps because we work from home, you guys. So it's kind of like a veces se me pasa and I wake up like at 10 a.m. I'm gonna be for real with you guys. 10 a.m. and I hate it. Well, actually, it's not been that often 10 a.m. anymore, but I hate it. I really do.
What specifically? Because this is where it's key, guys. What specifically of that do you hate?
I feel like I have wasted half of my day because obviously you can split your day in half, like morning and afternoon, right?
Okay.
So I have already wasted half of my morning. So it's kind of like the morning is gone. It is in reality.
Yeah, because if you follow the time thingy at 12,
that's your half day mark.
That's already, you pass to the next frame.
Yeah. And so that's ridiculous.
That's no longer morning. So if you're waking up like at 10,
that's ridiculous for me. And I am always so hard on myself. I guess the same way you are when you wake up like at 8. I feel the same way. And so like knowing that you wake up at 5 a.m. and I'm still asleep and I just can't get to waking up. Like it's been a lifelong struggle.
And if y'all want a little bit context, I won't give you context, but I will say this. I give up on trying to wake up Alondra early, you know.
I growl at him.
Oh my God. Alondra is just someone else in the morning.
I'm not aware. That's my problem.
She is very...
grouchy?
Yeah, honestly.
Mean. Oscar the Grouch. In the morning. I'm sorry.
I have to be emotionally stable in the morning to be able to say, okay, Alondra's just waking up. She doesn't mean all that stuff.
What do I say
kidding.
to you?
No. You're just very combative.
But I don't say anything.
Like you're protecting your sleep. As in like...
What? I don't even say words.
You are trying to justify the fact that you need to stay in and get your sleep.
But I don't even talk.
Yeah, you do.
What do I say?
It's too early. I don't want to get up. Stop making me get up.
Okay, stop saying that. Sorry. Damn.
Right. Like it's
Por eso digo,
and you act as if we didn't agree the night before that we're gonna wake up early.
Deja vu. I don't like that about me.
And that is the real thing. Who else has found that out? That whenever you go to sleep and then you wake up in the morning,
it's like as you didn't even make that agreement for yourself.
There's like a reset. And there's like, I guess that's where those habits come in, and something that you've done for so long, like that's what your subconscious or your automatic behavior, autopilot.
Naturally, like I know people who work a 9 to 5 who have, or like my parents, for example, they have to wake up at 5 a.m. as well for work. On weekends, they sleep in, but they end up waking up like at 7 a.m.
Which is still early.
Which is still very early.
Like for
and they're
them, 2 hours
like, dang.
is those extra ones.
They wish they could sleep in more, but their body naturally wakes up early, you know, which I mean, it's fine, but I wish I was at that point.
Right.
Which what comes down to it, my self-discipline. It's like quien madruga is somebody who was disciplined.
You have to be.
Why are you waking up early? Is it because you have to go to work? That's one reason. That's a very big motivation to wake up early, but maybe it's something else. And I feel like it could be something that you don't work until 8:30.
Right.
Why are you waking up at 5?
Yeah.
Oh, because you're going to go to the gym or you're going to work out at home or whatever you're going to do. You're going to stretch, meditate, right? Like you do. You're going to do breathing work. And I think that's such a valuable thing for a person to be doing, which is why the fact that I don't do that, it really sucks. Because I feel like on the other side of waking up early is the better version of me. The better version of who you are.
That's the message. So we talked about like el que madruga.
Dios lo ayuda.
And then la otra parte is
Dios lo ayuda.
Dios lo ayuda.
And what does
like
that
the
mean?
action. So what does that mean? So el que Dios te ayude is just another version of like things will go better for you.
Yeah. It could be a spiritual thing. I think like the fact that it's saying Dios te ayuda, putting God into it, because it's like a faith-based. Being Mexican is very involved with your faith. So it could be with your own faith, or it could just be like you get good fortune out of doing the habits that help you be a better person.
Yeah, you just get better results.
Yeah.
And that it could be el que madruga agarra mejores resultados.
For whatever it may be.
Those who rises early gets better results.
And I feel like it's worth mentioning, I've kind of categorized a person who wakes up early and a person who makes their bed. Those are the same type of person with qualities who have like a certain type of discipline. Like maybe the person who makes their bed doesn't wake up early, but they're making their bed, because it's very rare. I'm gonna be real. It's rare that people make their bed every single day, or unless I just don't make my bed enough. I'm calling myself out. This dicho's from me, and I'm not afraid to say it. Like, I'm for real. I'm sure there's a lot of people like me who struggle with this.
Yeah. When you say it's for you,
it speaks to me. O sea, if the shoe fits, wear it. O sea, the shoe fucking is good.
Right. Like for me, it's just the dicho that's been my
motivation.
I mean, reason why I can share a little bit later. But yeah, it's been just something that I've ingrained in myself, and I heard it since I was a child, and it really did speak to me. And then I was able to see that message early in my childhood. And then as growing up, I kept being reminded, like sometimes my dad would say it as well to me, and then I would be like, oh yeah, it's that one thing my grandpa would say to me. So for me, it became that, and then I started seeing the benefits as well.
Yeah.
And then in my early adulthood, that's whenever I superimposed it in my life, and I said, this is hard, because guys, it will be hard. I admit it. And I still, like I said, it's a big wave. Sometimes I'm very consistent, sometimes I'm not, and we're all human. We're all trying to figure it out too. And to say that I've been doing it consistently my whole life, no.
But the fact that you see the importance and you try.
I actively try, and I actively do it for spurs of times. Sometimes I get streaks of doing it consistently. Sometimes I don't. But I always come back to it. That's the thing. I don't think there's ever going to be a day that I say, screw it with this dicho, or screw it with this mentality, or this perspective.
This mentality sucks. So this is what I'm saying. Picture Dream You. Does Dream You paint more? Does he run marathons? Does he travel the world? Does Dream You reach their full potential, or does Dream You just sit on the couch scrolling through TikTok every day, living paycheck to paycheck? Is Dream You pre-diabetic, or does he live a healthy lifestyle? That version of you lives on the other side of your comfort zone, and that also involves waking up early, and that starts from waking up early. So like if you were to say screw this dicho, you're no longer holding yourself to your potential.
Yeah, I agree on what you wrote on that, because like I said, I don't think I would ever be comfortable saying screw this mindset, because it's kind of like giving up. It feels like that. Or life itself, it's like you're walking upstream a river. There's gonna be challenges. If you say screw it, you're gonna get dragged behind.
And here's the thing, time is ticking no matter what. Whether you say screw it, or whether you say screw it, I'm gonna throw this perspective out of the window.
Whatever. Why am I gonna try to improve myself?
Yeah, or you're gonna take this dicho seriously and you're going to try to improve every day. Time is ticking and nothing is forever. That's for a fact.
Right.
And what are you going to do with the short time that you're here? Are you going to try to reach your potential?
Because that's what it takes to wake up early, or the idea of getting up early to start working on the things that you need to work on.
Say there's two podcasters. They're just starting. Person A, person B. They're going for the same exact goal, which is having a podcast, living off of their podcast.
Okay, there you go.
Both people have that same goal. Person A wakes up at 5 a.m. and does all these tasks and then some. Person B wakes up at 8 a.m. and does all these tasks and still feels successful. They're both checking everything off their list, but person A is waking up early at 5 a.m. In 5 years, person A has already literally has put more time in, meaning he's already at this level, whereas person B is still around here in 5 years. Do you see? So like exponentially, those early birds will be getting the worm.
Right. So they're getting up and they're
putting in more work, believe it or not, because
in the long run. We're 2
in
hours.
the long run, because it's going to exponentially just grow. Kobe Bryant said that.
Someone who wakes up at 5 a.m. and someone who wakes up at
8 a.m.
8 a.m. 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 3 hours of difference.
That's 3 hours of difference,
right?
But he's already done the tasks that this guy would barely be starting.
To catch up to that person means that at 8, 9, 10, 11, he needs to do all that stuff
11
up until 11.
Yeah.
But this person...
At 11, he's already starting the next thing. Or an example of Kobe Bryant, he's already going on to his third training because he wakes up to train, he does breakfast, he goes to train at 7, 8 a.m., does something else. At 11, 12, he's already on his third training.
Right.
Whereas person B is barely on his first training by 12. And then adding the years, who's going to be more skilled? Who's going to have better, whatever the hell? Who's going to be better? Kobe Bryant.
So one of the things you're going to start seeing about someone who has that mentality or this perspective of the 5 a.m. riser or the El que madruga Dios lo ayuda mentality, it's a dicho that is said to reach greatness, or it's a dicho shared by people who have reached or have been to the top of where it takes you.
In whatever it may be that their goal is. Right?
Yes.
Because for Kobe, it was being
the greatest top basketball player.
For Mark Wahlberg, it is to be very fit actor because he spends his time working out.
Okay, yeah.
Right? His like 3 a.m. whatever routine.
There's all the folks that are in the 5 a.m. club because they didn't randomly pick that time.
Right.
It's known, or they figured out throughout trials that that's a perfect time to start. But while doing a little bit of research, this teacher has been trying to see the origin of it. It has an undetermined origin. It's been known forever.
I mean, because like if you think about it, go back to like the beginning of humankind.
If you woke up earlier,
you get the best fruits to pick.
Exactly. Yeah, you get early spots. You get early. Let's say you're trying to go to the DMV. You arrive there on time. You're one of the early. You're
the first in line.
First
or
in line.
third, which is not that bad either.
That way you get to get attended early and then you move on with your day.
Exactly.
Right?
And that is a form of good fortune because you don't have to spend your whole entire morning till afternoon waiting in line.
Here's another big one of city life. Those who go to work early before peak hour traffic starts,
you don't get stuck in morning traffic.
Exactly. And you get to work early and then, you don't experience that frustration of traffic.
I kind of liked it, to be honest.
Traffic?
Only because I knew I was going to be there a little late and I knew that was less time working.
Your problem was something else.
I have issues. Okay.
Yeah. If you don't care and you just want to spend less time at your work,
get out of there.
Yeah. That means you're not in the right spot. But if you are in the right work and then you feel like spending too much time in traffic just takes away from you being at work or the place that you get to produce your labor, that's a good advice to use because you want to get there early and you want to spend your time.
Why wouldn't you want to enjoy your time even if it's going to work? That's a big deal for a lot of people though. That's a big issue that I've noticed. It's obvious.
Not liking their work?
Majority of people don't enjoy waking up and going to work.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've seen so many times like capitalism. Why did the world come to this when everybody should just be like soaking up the sun, just like sharing, eating fruit, and just being like, hey neighbor, like whatever, you know?
Right.
Like, why did it have to be to this? Like, it's not as natural as capitalism makes it seem. But
then again,
that's all politics.
If you want to see it, el que madruga Dios lo ayuda is rooted in the idea that I'm going to wake up earlier because I'm going to outcompete the other people financially at work or whatever. I want to be the OG person at my job that the boss sees. It's like, this person is reliable. He's here early.
I feel like that is such like an 80s, 60s mindset.
Yeah, when it comes to work like that, yes, you can use it. But if that's what you're looking for to be in a better position in your job, what is it whenever they give you a better position? The ranks, promotion. Yeah, that's what you got to do. And then that advice,
like, if that makes you happy, definitely, you know?
It's still the same concept of that person that el que madruga Dios lo ayuda, whoever wakes up early gets the best results than those who wake up late and have to catch up to those who woke up early.
Exactly. A wise woman once said, get your fucking ass up and work. Kim Kardashian.
What?
There was a lot of controversy on that fact that she said that. Yeah, because it was like an interview where they asked her like some word of advice to the people, your fans or whatever. She's like, get your effing ass up and work. It seems like nobody wants to put in the work these days. End quotation. And there is a little bit of truth to that. I feel like she just didn't phrase it properly.
She didn't brief with her PR person.
Nobody. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's gonna upset a lot of people
because of who she is. Because her way of getting her ass up and work was selling her sex tape.
Okay.
You know, like, that's one way to do it, Kim Kardashian.
Work it, girl.
Exactly. So she said, get your butt up and work. And then the next thing that she said that was controversial was that she said, quotations, it seems like nobody wants to put in the work anymore. End quotations. Okay. So for her, it's like she gets everything handed to her at that moment already. At this time in her life, everything is handed to her. But at the time, like, what did she really put her ass in to fucking work in? She literally did her tape. Okay. Right. So what was she was willing to sacrifice all of that. Honestly, it was a sacrifice she did. So what are you willing to sacrifice? Waking up early. I know this is a lot. I'm sorry. So I just feel like
I'm trying to digest that idea.
Her saying that was controversial, but there is a truth to it, right? What are you willing to sacrifice in order to get what you want out of life?
Either way, regardless of all that stuff, what you're trying to do to wake up early is broaden or getting more opportunities. You want more opportunities in life, wake up early and then seize them.
Yes, because that version of you, that dream version of who you want to become, is on the other side of that coin, right?
Yes. Okay, so if you wake up at 5 a.m., let's just do a nice little rundown. You wake up at 5 a.m. In the first hour, I suggest for you to do some self-work. From the list that I gave before is you can work out, you can meditate, you can write in a journal.
You can stretch.
AKA plan or write in a journal. Different ways that you can do that by planning, getting your thoughts in order, or just
journaling
diary,
how you feel. Yeah.
Diary style. And then there's breath works that you can do, etc. The writing one was brought up to me by this book that I read. It's called The Artist's Way. And then this is for artists. If you want to explode your creativity
juices,
potential and juices, yeah. It's an advice that the author gave in The Artist's Way is to do morning pages, which is you just, for 3 pages of your journal, you just dump your ideas. Whatever comes to mind, you just write
ideas, like anything that comes up, like any words, any thoughts.
The idea of you just saying like, I don't have anything to write, you're writing that out. Like, I don't have anything to write right now, but I'm just writing with my pen and I'm looking at my hand as I write. And as I'm writing, I'm also looking ideas, at my vein. My vein is kind of bluish. And and there's a stream of ideas starts pouring.
Yummy.
And the idea of that, what you're going to start beginning to do, you're going to start getting accustomed to that slow tempo of how creativity comes to your mind and on to action. And you are going to be able to identify it. But obviously that I'm talking about, that receiving information and using it to be creative, that only comes with you getting accustomed to it, because you have to go through the trial of just like writing down, and then you're gonna start getting a feel for it, and then you're gonna know it. So you gotta do the practice. So that's an advice for all artists out there or creative individuals. And on those moments, believe me or not, but you're gonna come up with some amazing ideas while you're doing all that stuff, and you're gonna be able to like you're gonna feel like, oh my god, I gotta take action on this.
You know, I kind of get those in the shower. I get like a lot of shower thoughts.
Okay, yeah,
that's because I feel like that's where I mean, I'm not talking to anybody usually. So majority of the time I'm just like internally thinking about who knows what, and that's where I find those thoughts.
And also you're relaxing water. If you're doing warm
it's like
shower,
meditative.
you're kind of like, you get into this meditative state, which you reach as well when you're writing like that. Right.
So that's for you. That's where you find that creative connection.
Yeah. And I love that, by the way. I have like this much of a stack. It's not even, you can't even see it, guys.
Could we read them one day?
Of journals.
Let's read them.
Maybe I have to curate what I wrote, and I'll be like, there's something amazing that I wrote, because then there's also crap, to be honest, guys.
Boy,
there's
all
also
of my journals are
bad
whack.
stuff. Not bad stuff, but like things that are not well thought out. Like I ate a toast the other day, and then
nothing.
Whatever.
Ahí termina la sentence.
Like it's like nothing. You don't go nowhere, so it's like not good content to like share or whatever.
But that's just part of it. That's
nothing
wrong with that.
No, yeah. That's what's beautiful about this, is that you get a chance to like dump all that stuff, because if I ate a toast yesterday, just like, floating there in your consciousness.
Imagine yourself never had written anything in a journal. There's people who never did, who were never interested or taught that. No, but like I just feel like, where do your thoughts go? Where do you put your memories besides like a picture and a video? Like for me, at least, my journaling is mainly just catching up with everything that has been going on in my life. It's a diary, basically.
Oh, okay.
And I feel like doing that, you can self-reflect when you do that. It's crazy. But anyways, nada que ver.
But the idea of doing this early in the morning, in that first hour,
dang, I would do it at night.
It's recommended highly, from my perspective, to do it early, because you don't have anything of the day clouding your mind. Because if you did it at night,
I would do it
you
at
have
night.
the day, and that's more to do a diary. I would say that to do a diary, do it at night, because then you can just write about what happened in the day.
Have you ever read my diaries?
You shared a little bit of like, let's see what I wrote this day, and then you'll be like, Alondra will go into her journal and be like, let me tell you what I did that day, and then she'll be reading, and she's like, I'm not telling you that, and she flips the page. And I'm like, I don't know what.
Embarrassing, but one day maybe.
Well, we are married now, so
I know
I'm entitled to those.
Oh,
or maybe not. I don't know.
Am I entitled to yours?
But that's the thing. It's like,
see, think about it.
Un
Like,
ojo por ojo.
it's just embarrassing. It's all it is. Like, it's not anything that I'm hiding, like that's worth not talking about. You know what I mean? It's just embarrassing.
Right. I think so too.
I think I could go my life without bringing that embarrassing thought up.
All right. El que madruga, Dios lo ayuda. So for me, the origin of this dicho and why it became such a big dicho, my favorite dicho, by the way, was because I heard it constantly being said by my grandpa, my mom's father. He's the only one of my family members of grandpas that's passed away. I have all my other ones, but he's the only one that passed away in 2012. But in the life when he was still alive, and I would go to Mexico to go see him and vacation, the thing that he did for a living was he was a bread maker. And
literally
a bread maker.
You don't get it?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He was the main bread maker.
No, he made bread. In the town that I'm from, bread is like life source there, because everybody starts their day with pan and tu café.
Pan dulce.
Yes, pan dulce or tu pan in general, because you eat your lunch with that. Una torta con ese pan.
Oh, okay.
And we have very specific bread. And
girl,
they don't like the way that they're called, but they're just called like that, right?
What is it called for you guys?
We have two of them that are the same ones. It's just like I'm gonna explain what they are. So we have the ones that are like kind of like ovally, like that, like an oval.
What is that one called?
That one's called a peluca.
Peluca.
And then we have the square one, which we call it sisirisco bread. And apparently in other parts of Mexico, that's like a no word.
No, I really don't know if it's a family thing or just a family.
It's just region. I think it's just region.
Maybe. But the first time you said that to me, I was like, excuse me? What? What are we going to eat?
Yeah, it's what in my hometown, or my parents' hometown, that's what they would use to do sandwiches. Una torta de sisirisco, una torta de
Still
jamón.
funny to me.
And like,
I'm
and for me, it's so
sorry.
normal.
And for me, that was a vulgar word until I met you. I was like, wait.
But yeah, I do understand what she feels, because I do know that in other regions
Isn't
there's
there
this one
panocha?
bread. There's a bread that's called panocha bread or pan de panocha. And then for me, no, yeah, it's
I'm
freaking
so childish,
weird,
I'm
you
sorry.
know. And Alondra cannot handle either
It's
one
just
of those.
oh, man, it hits me in the core of my humor.
Why did they call it like that? And why is it known like that? I don't know, guys. But
It gets me off guard every time.
oh, the other simplified version of that bread is just pan de suelo, because on the oven where they put that bread is right on the
booty,
floor.
on the bottom. Sorry,
Booty.
I'm sorry.
El oven con el booty or whatever.
On the
I don't know.
bottom.
No, yeah. On the bottom, en el piso, básicamente. That's why it's called
Pan de
piso.
suelo.
Yeah, pan de suelo, pan de piso. But anyways, and then that gives it that bottom, like crunchy bottom, and then the fluffy at the
Butter,
top.
baked on a buttery flaky crust. No, but your
My grandpa.
Yeah.
He was a very early riser, meaning that he was up in madrugada. Él madrugaba.
To go make that
To go
bread.
make the bread. Because the way that it worked in my town is bread makers had 2 shifts. Why do I know that? Because I saw it every day with my grandpa, right? In a span of 24 hours, right? At 12 p.m.
In the afternoon.
en
he would
el
work.
día, iba y trabajaba 3 o 4 horas.
Okay.
Could be 5 hours, right? And that's whenever they would actually make the dough and the bread and the base. They would call it, would make the base, meaning they will make all the masa, all the harina and masa. They will mix all that stuff. They'll make the dough, and then they will make them in individual little bolitas.
So they would
in
make the
pans.
bread.
Yeah, from scratch.
Yeah.
Make the dough and then put it on individual bolitas, that which was gonna become the bread, and they will put it in racks.
And let it rise.
And let it rise since like whenever they made it, like 1, 2, 3, 4 p.m. all the way till nighttime. So like around 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. my grandpa would like shift out and go home. Either he will catch up on sleep a little bit more, eat, catch up on sleep, and then by 10 p.m. of night or 12 a.m. already, he will go back to the panaderia, and then that's whenever they would do the other half
The
of
baking?
They will make all the specific breads.
Why are you heavy
That was
breathing?
from 1, 2, 3 to 4 a.m. And then around 5 a.m., and everybody in the town knew this, that's whenever they would turn on the
oven?
ovens,
Why did everybody know that?
because you can smell it at 5 a.m. Todo el que madrugaba sabía.
How come I never smelled it in your rancho?
You weren't up at 5 a.m. And you could also smell the bread in the distance. And so that my grandpa would do all that stuff. And then also he was like they would call him the master baker or the master bread maker. And only the master bread maker would get all, ya que todos ayudaban a hacer el pan y hacían todas las diferentes, all their tasks. There's only one person that was allowed to do this, and it was the master bread maker.
What was he allowed to do? Put his finger in it or something?
No, bake him. Like be in front of the oven, putting in the bread.
Because he could read like when they were ready.
Because it was such a key point to it. It's such a key and important position and task, because you're actually making sure the bread comes out good.
Yeah, because he
And you
had
have
the
to
eye
know.
for it.
He already knew the time that he needed to put all the bread and when to take him out.
And this was all like his morning shift and stuff.
Uh-huh.
So this is like a all day, every day?
And he exactly.
Oh my gosh.
And he did this for his entire life.
Well, that's great if you like to bake.
It was just what life kind of like threw at him, and he became a bread maker by association or because of the street that he lived in. That was his whole career. That's all he knew how to do, was to make bread. And by the way, my dad got employed in that same panaderia, and my grandpa was the one who taught my dad to make bread as well.
Like every novela.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So my tío worked with my abuelo, and he was training both of them together, mi tío and mi papá. And then they became good friends. This one time, llegó mi pa al centro, and then mi tío estaba en una paletería y le dijo a mi papá, oye, ¿puedes cuidar a mi hermano ahorita que voy? Es que pasó una chava y quiero ir a hablar con ella, or something like that. And so mi tío, best friend of mi dad at the time, le dejó encargado a su hermana, which was my mom.
So he was there babysitting?
So se quedó ahí. Mi pa le invitó una paleta, una nieve, whatever. For my mom, at the time, she was a teenager. My dad was like a teenager, but older teenager.
They're just 2 years
for
apart.
My mom was just like, oh my God, it's my crush or whatever. And for my dad, it was kind of like, oh, es la hermana de mi best friend, whatever.
Yeah.
But for my mom, it kind of like, it started there.
For her, she already had a crush.
Yeah, so like, Tony me va a cuidar.
Antonino?
El Antonino. Coming back to the dicho. Okay, so whenever
Obviously.
we would go to Mexico, where we would stay there, I've always known that my grandpa was a panadero. And then when I would talk to my grandpa, and then I would find out that like he would have to go to work at night type of thing. And le preguntaba a mi abuelo, ¿por qué va a ir a trabajar? ¿O por qué se va a ir muy tarde? And then his response was always, es que mijo, el que madruga Dios lo ayuda. And then for him, it was his life force. It became his thing, like his way of framing his hard work, his hard life. As in like,
this is a sacrifice.
It's a sacrifice that I have to do.
Por
and
his
because
family.
of it, es por eso que Dios nos está ayudando.
Exactly.
And for him, it was that phrase that he would grab to use.
Which comes back to the fact that Mexican culture is also kind of with the Catholic religion. What he's sacrificing, God will give back.
I'm pretty sure he used it just to give a little bit of context of my life, but like him to me as a kid, he couldn't express it in words.
He didn't need to say everything. He just said it like that.
Thank God that there's dichos to be able to simplify it. Now, for me, at the time, I didn't understand it. I was like, oh, pues el que madruga Dios le ayuda. ¿Qué es madrugar? ¿Qué es all that stuff? I would have questions. I never understood it. But like, it's a dicho that like, I would ask like my family or my parents, like, ¿qué es el que madruga Dios lo ayuda? Oh, it's a dicho. And like forever, that's why it's also been identified as like, it's the first time that I asked something and I was like, oh, it's a dicho. ¿Qué es un dicho? Like, I don't understand the meaning. But now I can break it down. Now I can internalize it. Now that I'm doing it right now, I've done it before. I've broken this dicho down so many times. And that's why it has become us. And like, oh my God, my grandpa probably gave me the best gift ever, which is this dicho. And one that I've used to see my life within this perspective. Mm-hmm. And he gave me that core advice so early in my years that like it's helped me so much so far. And it's one of those advices or those dichos that I hold on to. And I see the value. There's so much to give. Now, my grandpa he didn't wake up early in the mornings. No, he would use the entire madrugada. He was in a whole different schedule than anybody else, but he would get all his work done through the night when everybody was sleeping. And then when everybody was asleep, él ya llegaba knocking on the door like dun 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 7 in the morning, and you were here and you'd be like, oh my God. For him, it was like he was getting out of work. He already got his day done.
Well, people are still not even up for their own jobs yet.
So he would wake everybody up. Like,
he would do it on purpose?
Like he would knock on the door, and you know the metal doors in Mexico that oh
if
my God,
they slam, they're so loud.
And then sometimes he would just do it with his knuckles, right?
Still loud.
Dun, 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 dun. And sometimes he had like coins, and he would use the coins, and then like so it was louder, and I'm like dun, dun, dun. He would wake up everybody. There were some times that my grandma was just like ready, and like he would like open the door immediately. But sometimes it's like grandma's not home, or for whatever reason,
who's gonna wake up and go open the door?
Yeah, so it's like ya llegó el abuelo, ábrele la puerta.
Aww.
And whoever was close, y a mí a veces me mandaban así, it's like, hey, ya, ábrele a tu abuelo, te toca. But it was also
but
like,
you were asleep, weren't you?
Oh no, yeah. And it was like kind of like the alarm. And he's like, he just got done doing his job and I'm barely waking up. So I think that's also why I feel like el que madruga gets to do all this stuff before while you barely are waking up. And like for me, I was just barely waking up and getting my day started. And my grandpa ya había hecho pan para toda la colonia, básicamente.
It's a beautiful story. Do you want to go eat some sweet bread right now in honor of your abuelito?
Yeah, just a little extra thing. Growing up with my grandparents and visiting them, nunca nos faltaba el pan.
Oh, so yummy.
Y eso era lo que Dios ayudaba también. There was nunca faltaba el pan. I never knew of a morning that there wasn't freshly baked bread by my grandpa.
So your grandpa was very disciplined when it came to having to wake up, having 2 shifts, in fact. Mm-hmm. That was a sacrifice because obviously not everybody has 2 shifts in their job like that, right?
Yeah.
Meaning that you don't get to see your family, you don't get to sleep in, you don't get to sleep a full night. Like that was a lot of sacrifice. And for him, like he said, he would tell you that. Quien madruga Dios la ayuda. Because it was a sacrifice. The fact that he's over here knocking on the door at 7 a.m. trying to come back inside, you know? And the little you just like barely waking up, lagañas in your eyes. Baba, todo bien tieso.
Yeah. Todo miau.
That's not a lie.
That is not a lie.
Oh my god, that's so funny. I imagine you all stinky and sour. It's like, abuelito, un abrazo. He'd be like, quien madruga Dios la ayuda, quítate. But yeah, so that's a perfect example of that dicho. And the fact that he's the one who showed you that dicho is even better, you know? So nice. Thank you for sharing.
Yes, my pleasure.
Okay, but it's time to go deep, right? We've broken it down. Quien madruga, Dios lo ayuda. There's 2 different components to this dicho. How can we go deeper into this?
Right. Let's take a moment to kind of like try to see the deeper meaning or something that we have just not seen yet that's there.
We've looked at what it literally means. Let's look at it to what the opposite of this dicho might be. The person who wakes up late, what kind of a person is and what kind of habits does that person have? Do you want to be that person?
Because the opposite would be el que se levanta tarde, el diablo lo maldice. So,
that's scary.
O el diablo lo ayuda. El que el diablo te ayude.
No creo que vas a tener ayuda. I think it's more so like te
maldice.
Te maldice, as in you will get worse luck.
It's like a curse.
It's like
there
a curse.
You go.
Oh, yeah.
El que se levanta tarde, menos oportunidades tiene.
Yeah. And is that the person that you want to be?
No.
I don't think
anybody wants to be their worst version of themselves.
But what's sadder? The person who knows they're a bad version of themselves or a person who is not aware of the bad version of themselves? Nobody wants to be the bad version of themselves.
Okay, yeah.
But some people are actively that version because they don't realize it.
Oh, okay. They haven't understood the concept that like if I want to become a better version, I need to wake up early.
Or I have to sacrifice my comfort zone. What does your comfort zone mean? Is it TikTok? Is it scrolling mindlessly? Is it TV, video games? Is it your comfort zone, right? It could be many things. I don't know.
Because what we are sacrificing here por madrugar is our sleep.
Yes. Our comfort.
Our early morning.
As in, what are you sacrificing? Your cozy bed, your clean sheets, the lluviecita afuerita, todo bien, que agusticidad, right?
Yeah.
Versus getting up and starting your day. Like, that's a sacrifice. Some people maybe sacrificing being sober, living your day sober. Like, some people, they can't do that. But what's on the other side of that? Being more productive. Because some people are now realizing, oh, when I'm under the influence, I'm more chill out and I don't really see what's in front of me.
Okay.
That's going deep. Sorry.
So it's kind of like, it's very specific to the el que madruga Dios lo ayuda, meaning el que se levanta temprano está sacrificando la comodidad y la agusticidad de la mañana.
De estar dormido en la mañana.
Para empezar el día.
Right.
It's equivalent to those who say, I drink and that's my comfort, but I'm going to stop drinking.
To be a better version of who I want to be.
Drinking, it's sleeping those extra 4 hours.
Is sleeping in.
Sleeping in.
Until your alarm
equivalent
hit.
To and not drinking is equivalent to like waking up at 5 a.m. Not sleeping.
Yeah, because some people, maybe this person who drinks does wake up at 5 a.m. For him, that's normal.
Right.
So that's not the sacrifice that he needs to make. All in all, this means just a sacrifice. Quien madruga, Dios lo ayuda. What you sacrifice, God will give back in return.
Here's something that maybe we're overlooking is if you are sacrificing those early hours by waking up, you gotta understand that it has to be mirrored. If you're sacrificing them here, you have to be putting it on the other side, which is you have to be going to sleep early as well.
Right, unless you want to sleep 3 hours.
And that's the full idea of waking up early.
Exactly.
What you take from here, you put it on the other side. So why would you go to sleep? Why would you sacrifice going to sleep early? Well, there is this other saying that nothing good happens after a certain hour, right?
After 12 or something like that?
After 12, right? So you should be going to sleep. You should be sleeping. And normally we would just be doing things while the sun was out. So because of technology, obviously, and because of the times now, we have electricity and...
We have technology.
We have technology. Yeah, we're just using it crazy.
Exactly. People take advantage of it and in return shoot themselves in the foot.
Yeah.
Which is going to sleep late because you're mindlessly scrolling on TikTok instead of allowing your body to naturally let you go mimis.
Because we are naturally wired to go to sleep when the sun goes down. You have to go to sleep early on the day and give yourself at least 8 hours. So if you wake up at 5 a.m., you have to be going to bed at 9 p.m. If you go to sleep at 12 p.m., then you're going to be waking up at 8 a.m. Now, many people don't go with the 8-hour cycle of sleep.
Just depends on what time they got to clock in for work.
I know. That's when it's complicated. Yeah.
Yeah. Because like no matter what, majority of people do wake up at 6, 7 a.m.
Right.
It's not rare that people don't wake up at 5 a.m. But what do they, if you have to wake up for work, do you wake up purposefully even earlier? Mm-hmm. That's where this dicho really matters.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what time you wake up for work. What matters is the sacrifice of waking up even earlier.
I think we've reached a point where this dicho is very valuable, and we've said as much as we can from this dicho. There's obviously more to dig on, because the idea of waking up early is just a big idea and it's a big concept, but it has a very good meaning, very good message for those who wants to improve their better self version. If you feel like if you continue doing the habits that you've been doing, will you reach that goal? Exactly. Will you be that version of yourself in a year? And then you have to be making the question, if I wake up earlier and start my day earlier and do productive things, my rise and shine routine or something. Rise and shine. Sorry. Will that, on the long run, will that create a better version of myself? And then you have to see, is it worth doing it? And then I think the answer will be very evident if you ask yourself truly. Guys, rise and shine. You have to wake up early. Go and on, in clip, Nike commercial right here. That Nike commercial, by the way, also was my alarm clock for so many years when I was trying to get that's a really good motivational video. You should definitely listen to that. Yeah, so this Nike audio definitely goes with this dicho. I recommend you guys listen to it. It is such a good one. I mean, it's a common one, so maybe you heard it, but definitely. It goes for everybody. Nike did it kind of like for athletes, but it's for everybody. I would even listen to it before working out. That's how motivational it was to me. Oh, yeah. So with that said, you guys have some homework to do. Go listen to that Nike commercial. Also, comment down below if you're going to start your 5 a.m. morning routine. Like this video. Comment, share. We really would appreciate it. There was a comment recently, by the way, that we have. This person has 2 laughing emojis and a timestamp. So if you guys want to go see what he's laughing at, go to A Darle Que Es Mole de Olla with the timestamp 17:30. We'll see you guys next time, and hopefully next time I could tell you guys I've been waking up at 5 a.m. All right. Dang, am I shooting myself in the foot? Let's do, 7 days from here. 7 days from this post. Mommy. We're going to do how many of those 7 days Alondra woke up early. Let's do it. You know what? I'm going to take my own advice, you guys, and I'm going to see how well of advice we give or not. Is it good advice? I don't know. Yeah. We'll see. El que madruga, Dios lo ayuda. Amen. Goodbye, guys. Bye, guys. Love you. See you in the next one.